Hello FLOSSTUBE friends, I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with the laughing face, and this is FLOSSTUBE number 12. Welcome back to all of my regulars who stop by every video to see what I've been up to. I so appreciate all the kind comments, and it's funny because the similarities and things that you have stitchy friends that you haven't met yet, but maybe someday. So I really do appreciate everyone who does come back every time, and we have a lot of new people. I did break 500 finally. If you have watched a few videos, you know I've been stuck at 484 subscribers for like months. And it just would go up or down by one, and it just was stuck there. And then a couple weeks ago, I had to have a huge thank you to Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Maybe a little more. She did a live because she had some cool announcements. And so I hopped on because I love her. She's just so awesome. She has such a big heart. She's great. And I feel like I want to talk with a Southern accent after I watch her videos. But she had a live. So I hopped on and I said hello in the comments. And she mentioned me. She said she loved my videos, which just warmed my heart. And she recommended people check out my channel. And wouldn't you know it, within a day or two, I had broken 500 and I'm well beyond that. So, so welcome to the new subscribers. And because I did hit 500, I have a giveaway that I'll be doing at the end of the video. So stick around for that. So, so thank you to Alicia and to Alana, who is the Mrs. Smith Stitches, who is my neighbor, sort of. She lives in Canada. I think she probably lives like straight up north from where we are, because she mentions the same store in Rochester, and she said it's not too far for her, so then it can't be too, she's not too far for me. So she had a really nice shout out as well. So thanks so much. It's so awesome to be part of this community and to have stitchy friends. And I know there's a lot of FLOSSTUBEs out there, so thanks so much for hanging out with me and seeing what I've been up to. It's been a hot minute. I apologize for that. I thought, oh, it's summer, I'll make FLOSSTUBEs like every week. Yeah, that didn't happen. We've just been busy, it's summertime, and we were away for a week. And so this is a different summer for us because, oh, shoot, I almost forgot. I'll come back to that because I wanted to mention the reason Alicia had her live was because she had some announcements. And first was that her birthday is in September. She's turning 53, which I would not have guessed at all. I would have thought much younger. So she's doing 53 days of giveaways. So if you're part of her Facebook group, she's got giveaways she's doing there, which is so sweet. And then she announced that she's going to do a retreat next July. It's called Stitch Florida. It's really reasonable, and like the rooms are reasonable. The retreat fee itself is reasonable. She said she wanted to do it in July so teachers could join, and I was like, I really want to go. So I wrote all the information down and I put it on my refrigerator so I can try to get in. I would love to. That'd be so much fun. But those were her two big announcements. So go check her out, which I'm sure you'd have because that's why you're here, because you saw her. But she's a lot of fun. So anyway, back to life. It's so we have Phil's kids every week. It used to be that we had them for like Wednesday and Thursday and every other weekend, and it changed this summer to having them for a full week on and a full week off. So it's been kind of an adjustment because we're used to seeing them every week, and we'd go biking, go hiking, do our disc golfing like every week when they were here. So the first week in July that they were home, we kind of had to shove all of that into 1 week. So we were biking twice and we went disc golfing, and so always off doing something fun with them. And then the other week we had them in July, we went to the Adirondacks, which was awesome. We stayed at the Adirondack Diamond Point Lodge, which was super cute cabin. We were glamping. It wasn't really camping at all. We had our own bedroom. The kids had their bedroom with 2 bunk beds and a double in it. There was a kitchen. We had our own fire pit. We had 2 porches. It was really very nice and really well stocked. I brought a bunch of stuff with us, like just detergent and utensils and stuff, and everything was there. We didn't really have to bring anything at all. So that was really a really nice place to stay. And we did a whole bunch of fun things. It was in the Lake George region, so we kind of stayed. That was our base of operations and didn't go too far because the Adirondacks is pretty big. Actually, like Lake Placid, I think, is an hour and a half almost from Lake George. So one day we went and did rail biking. So if you've not done this before, they take train tracks that are out of commission for trains, and they have bikes. So there's a 2-person one and there's a 4-person one, and you sit in the seat, and then there's a pedal in front of you, like a bike pedal. And then they have big wheels that sit on top of the train tracks, and you power yourself as you're going down the tracks. So I think it's kind of fun because you're in a spot that you can't see from the road. So you're in the middle of nature. We saw a lot of beautiful little waterfalls, and the river was right next to us, and actually crossed the Hudson on an old railroad bridge, which was really cool. And the scenery was just beautiful. So you bike out. There's your guides who are with you, and they have like a turntable, and they turn all the bikes around, and you bike back. And then we actually got to Lazy River on a real river. So they had inner tubes, and you just like float down the river to where your car is. So that was really fun. We saw a bald eagle. That was amazing. Flew right over us. I couldn't catch a picture in time. It was too fast, but that was really cool. We went mountain biking one day, and we feel like we've been a little spoiled. Normally we have a couple spots that we like to go to, but one of our favorite places around here is called Ellicottville, and it's actually, people come from all over to go bike there, but they've been logging it for the past couple of years. So there's a whole bunch of trails that are shut because they're logging. And also, because they logged, there's certain spots that's not really forest anymore. They took down a lot of trees. I actually got sunburned in the woods last year. So we don't go there as much, and that's a little bit more technical trail. It has a lot of roots. It has a lot of more rocks and that kind of thing. So the place we've been going is more of a smooth ride. It's very roller coastery, lots of cool little hills that you're doing. But when we were in Adirondacks, it was like back to the real deal again. There was a lot of roots. There was a lot of rocks. So it was a little bit trickier than what we've been doing, but we had a good time, and it was beautiful, beautiful spot. We also went to the Wild Center, which has a treetop hiking, like they've got platforms, so you're walking up above the trees. That was really cool, with a lot of other neat exhibits about the area. They had otters, super cute. We went to Fort Ticonderoga, which was important in the French and Indian War, Revolutionary War, and they've rebuilt it. So, and that was pretty neat history stuff to see. But the big thing we did was we went whitewater rafting. So we went with a company called Square Eddies, and the owner, Lori Phoebe, was our guide, and she was amazing. She has she has rafted all over the world, like in South America, and she said she spent 21 days in the Grand Canyon, but she knows that river like a musician knows a piece of music. It was just amazing that she knew where every rock was. She knew exactly and just, we had such a great time. We're so glad that we had her, because she just had this wealth of knowledge also about the area and the logging that they used to do there, and how they use the river to get the logs down to the mill. So we just really enjoyed it. She likes to surf. So it's when there's a rapid coming over an area, but then it kind of creates a whirlpool behind it. And if you hit the raft into it the right way, you're getting pushed by the rapid, but sucked back in by the whirlpool. So we did that a couple of times, and the other boats were like lined up to go do it in the same spot, and they weren't doing it as well as she was. It was like, we're the surfing champions. But I'll put the links down below to a couple of those places I mentioned, because if you're heading that way, to the Adirondacks, which is beautiful, those were some things that we did that was really fun. So the weeks that we've not had Brooke and Vince, Phil and I have been busy working. We own rental properties, and so we have an apartment that's in the final stages of being ready to get rented out. We had some potential tenants, trying to find the right person. So right now we're doing the last bit of cleaning, but it's been a lot of the last details. So we've been busy doing that. And I have been doing some stitching and stuff along the way. We're about to head out again. We're going to go visit Phil's family next. And this is August 4th. My birthday is a week away, 7 days. Big 5-0. But we're going to be visiting family, and then I have 3 weeks left before school starts. But we're not mentioning the S word. Yeah. No, not there. Not there. Not there. I've not even been pinning stuff. That was actually, Alicia asked me how my summer was going, knowing that I'm a teacher. And I was like, the way my summer's going, so we bought my new car at the end of June. I didn't fill the gas tank up until the end of July because I'm not driving it to work every day. So it's been nice to have the summer off and doing a lot of stuff at home. Haven't had a real chance to get anything else done in my new crafting space because we have been working on the getting the apartment ready, and I have a project I've been working on. I was like, I need to get that done before we go to Wisconsin. I'll show you that in a little bit. So that's what we've been up to. Just looking at my notes. Oh my gosh, I forgot my previous finishes. Hold on. Okay, so previous finishes. If you've watched before, you know that I have a couple calendar sets that I always show. And I was going to show you like an oldie. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I stitched a long time ago and it's upstairs, but I forgot to grab it. So I'll show you that next time, I promise. I have stuff from the a lot of stuff from the 90s, like the Paula Vaughns and some big things, but I promise I will show you those next time. So one of my sets that I have is the Year Celebrations from Hands On Design. This was the first one, and so this is August. And I have this cute little frame that I use for all of them. They're all stitched on tea-dyed linen, or Irish linen, I think it is technically, because I just had to buy a new tube. And then mounted on foam core. Oh, my clip is not working. There we go. And then it has a coordinating fabric on the background. I feel like I need a new bow, or I need like a big sunflower sign to put on it. I might have to go to Hobby Lobby. Haven't been there actually in a while. But I love how this one has the little picnic blanket and the ants and the sunflower, and it's just bright, kind of bright and happy. And I do have sunflowers. That was one of the first things I did when we got home from the Adirondacks, was took down all the 4th of July stuff and put up all my sunflowers, because I already have a lot of bees out, and it's just it's so happy and bright and cheerful. So this is my other calendar set. This is Sugar Stitches, and she did the Calendar Girls. I have all of them done now, and I think this was actually the first one that I FFO'd, so it kind of set the stage for all the other ones. I love this fabric. I hope I have more of it because it's super cute, and it's easy because it'll go with so much stuff. It's a good, I think Lindsay calls them like a blender, because yes, it has a pattern, but it's not going to interfere with other patterns, just like the plaid. But I love the little girl in her farm dress, and she's got her cow there and the apples. So all of them have the gingham border. So I used, well, this one's more of a plaid, but I used gingham on a lot. And then the lace over here. So I put lace on it. And then this backing piece is from Hobby Lobby. And since it has the metal on it, I only have to put magnets. I don't even have to put the washers. So this has a couple little farm decorations, because I had a farm theme in my library last year. So I have a couple little, just a few little things. So that's kind of set out by itself. And then September is all apple-y kind of stuff. I put out apples for September. So those are my previous finishes. So I do have some stuff that I've been working on. I was so happy with this one. So my original plan for July was I was going to do like a whole week for different topics. And the first week I did patriotic, and I continued working on Primrose Cottage's Star Spangled Street, which came out great. It's not FFO'd yet. I'm going to do like an FFO party for myself before school starts. So when we get back from Wisconsin, that'll be one of the things I do. So I did patriotic the one week, and then I was going to do Pinker and Punkin, who I love. She's Pinker and Punkin quilting.blogspot.com. I think that's what it is. Yes, I think that's it. Her name's Melissa, and she has the cutest patterns, and they're all free. It's amazing. She's so generous because these are all adorable. So I've loved her stuff for a while. She has a ton of cute little salt boxes and a lot of cute little farm things, very vintagey looking. The new one's just awesome. I love it. But this has been one of my favorites for a while. This is one of the first ones that caught my eye. So this is just called Summer House. And I decided to do it on blue because then it would look like the sky. So I'm going to frame it. I'm going to get a square 8x8 frame. I kind of have a picture in my head of what I want. I want one that's a little distressed with kind of the bead in it that goes around the frame, because I think that will kind of match the vintagey look. But I love how it turned out. It was a lot of green. A lot of green. So I was about halfway done with it after the first week. And then I was going to work on Christmas stuff. And I was like, you know what? Christmas is 5 months away. I want to have this out. I want to be able to put this out and not have it go in a whip bag and sit there for another year. So I just continued until I was done with this one. I sewed so much on this with the sewing method. And when I do something like this, is an even weave. It's just I think a Lugana. I don't know the specific. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I do this in a hoop, but I still do the sewing method in the hoop. I actually put a hole in my finger because I was stitching so much. I had to wear a little Band-Aid. But this is also, it counted for my Colorado Cross Stitcher July Club, because for that you had to have something that grows. So we had the sheep and the grass, so much grass, and the sunflowers and the bees, and there's a tree. So I put that in for that. But I just love how it turned out. It's so heavy because it's funny because it's so much stitching on it, but this is probably one of her biggest ones. It normally would not take 2 weeks to do one of Pinker and Punkin's stitchings. Usually her things are a little bit smaller, and actually I do have a picture of the next one because hers are all free. She doesn't have like a cover when she does her patterns. It's just like she'll have a picture on her blog. So this is the new one that she just came out with. It's a blueberry house, and I just absolutely love this one. I love kind of the washed out blue of it. And then she also did a blueberry basket with a little alphabet to go with it. So I'm going to be kitting those up before we head out on our trip so that maybe I can work on those because they're awesome. I just love those. But she has, her Christmas stuff is super cute. So if you like Prim Primitive stuff, definitely check her out if you haven't done that already. All right, so then when I finished hers, I still had a few days left before we were heading off to the Adirondack. So I have some things I was like, oh, I can work on stuff in the car. I wanted to take Ada that I can work on in the car because you can see the holes so much easier. So I was like, what am I going to work on for like a day or two before we head out? So I grabbed a whip. And I don't know where my cover is, but this is Gingerbread Farm from Stitching with the Housewives. And I want to do, this was from last July, and where they had a whole bunch of cute gingerbread, and I have gingerbread in my kitchen at Christmas time, so I want to do all their gingerbread stuff. It'll just be gingerbread everywhere. I'll need to have my own little gingerbread tree in there. So I worked a little bit on that one. And then this has been something I've worked on for a little bit because it's my car stitch. Again, don't usually do a lot on Ada, and I'm like, why am I being such an Ada snob? I don't know, because I've enjoyed working on it lately, actually. So this is, I've been working on this whenever we were driving, because it's the Ada, and this is the iridescent Ada. I don't think you can see the sparkles in it. My lighting is not great. It's kind of early in the morning. The light's not super strong in here, but this is the iridescent, and it's really soft Ada. I like it a lot. So this is Mrs. Claus's Bakery. I had to put the apostrophe in because I'm an ELA teacher. I just had to. So I'm going to finish her up, I'm pretty sure, when we're in the car in the next couple of days. And then I'm going to also do the Santa's Tree Farm from that set. This was the Roundabouts. I think they came out in last November. And then I was going to do the Cardinal one because I love cardinals. And that one comes with the freebie. So I'm going to do those 4. And then I thought the rest of the iridescent, I'm going to do the Valentine's Day Roundabouts on, because I thought that would be kind of cute to have the little bit of sparkle in the Valentine's Day one. So that's the other one that I worked on a little bit. And then I have the August month to month. Sorry, all my stuff is on to the side here. So again, getting ready for the trip, and the trip to Adirondacks wasn't too much in the car. It was only about 4 hours, but it was also very windy through the mountains, so I can't stitch that. It'll make me car sick. So I took it did a little bit in the car, but I did a lot in the evenings. We did very physical, strenuous things during the day, so we just kind of chilled at night in our cabin. So this is the August month to month from Stitching with the Housewives. I'm going to get them all done eventually. And so here's mine. And this is on the Cracked Pine Aida. And I really like it. Again, this is really soft compared to some of the other Aidas that I've used, like the stuff out of the tube. And I really think that the Cracked Pine like goes well with the coloring in this one. I'm going to use it for, I have enough to do October and November. And I think it'll be great. Again, it's so cheerful with the yellow colors. And I'm almost done with it. So hopefully I'll have this done before we head out. I don't know that I'll have it FFO'd before we head out, but I want to have it up. I want to have it out for the rest of August so we can enjoy. So that is pretty much what I've been stitching on. Now, since I have been doing some quilting, since I rearranged my fabric and was like, ooh, fabric, I'm going to play with it. I'm going to do all my cross-stitching stuff first, and then I have some quilting things to talk about, and then I have books that I've been reading because I'm a librarian, and if I can't talk about books, it's like I'm going to implode. So I do have some things that I've been reading. So if you want to, if you're a stitcher, hang out for the stitching portion. You can stay for the quilting, and then books at the end, and then I do have the giveaway at the end, so you can jump around if you need to. All right. So my plans for, sorry, do haul first. I do have a little bit of haul. Because Primrose Cottage had a sale. And, sorry, there's my other, don't need to show you the side of my head all the time. They had a 30% off sale, I think 4th of July, on paper patterns. And 30% off, how can you not? Stuff you're going to buy anyway, so I was like, I gotta get it. So I got my Welcome to the North Pole, which is in my plans. I am going to work on that when we get back from Wisconsin. I just have to get all the, I'm going to do it on the Vintage Country Mocha. That was one of the questions I asked you guys, because I've seen some of it done on black and it looked really cool, but I'm going to do it on the Vintage Country Mocha, and I'm going to use all the called for DMC. And then the other one I picked up was the 13 Spooky Smalls, because I just loved these last year. So cute. I really want to do the Wicked Without Coffee, because my coffee classroom. And then there's also one that's the Witch's Brew. I thought that would be funny. And I do love, they've got a couple Hocus Pocus things. There's one in here that's Hocus Pocus with their, the brooms. That one. Because I do love Hocus Pocus. They're my girls. I love Winifred. She cracks me up. And then I was in Joann's because I ran in. I had to get a couple skein. I was looking to see if they had a variegated DMC floss, because I used one on the Primrose Valentine's Day stitch that had the truck, and it worked pretty well. I don't have an L&S. The closest one is an hour and a half away. And they didn't have a variegated brown that I was looking for. You'll see in a minute. But I did pick up another tube of Carolina, because I love Carolina and that vintagey homespun kind of look to it with the uneven threads. And then, like I said, I'm kind of like, why am I being such a snob about Aida? Aida's just fine. I picked up a tube of Fiddler's Cloth because I saw Robin, oh shoot, I'm blanking on her last name. Fat Quarter Shop did a little trunk show of a new designer, and her stuff was on Fiddler Cloth, and it was super, super cute. She's like, oh, I'm just going to pick up a thing of Fiddler's Cloth, because I like that. That's really a great fall. It's really good for fall. So when I was there, they had this. Not that I need any more Halloween patterns, because I have a million. I have a whole bunch of these. But, oh, let me see if I can find the picture. They had stitching themed stuff. Yeah. So they had this. How stinking cute is that? And then there's another one down here that's about frogging. So yeah, just had to bring that one home. There's a couple other really cute ones in here. And the nice thing is a lot of them are pretty small, so they are possible. So that's pretty much my haul. So plans for August. Obviously I'm going to finish the month to month and I'm going to finish the Mrs. Claus and then have the other ones to work on like in the car. And those are also good in the hotel room. But the only thing that I'm thinking about with school right now is what do I want to stitch for my classroom, because I'm a dork. But we knew that I have to have stitchy stuff. So that's where half of my bee stuff came from, because I stitched bee things for my classroom. But my ELA room is coffee themed, and I have a whole bunch of cute coffee things that I've been meaning to do. So that is what I'm going to be working on in August, and some of it is Ada. So again, taking it in the car on the trip will work pretty well. So this is one I purchased years ago, and it's actually, must have got it from her website, because it has the year I bought it. I bought it in 2016, so a while ago. But her stuff is really cute, and it's going to be super quick because it's pretty much just all backstitching and words. So I love this one. I've got coffee fabric already that I can use to make something cute for it. And I'm going to do it on, so I looked through what I had in my stash, and I had this ivory Ada that actually has like some little flecks in it. I don't think you can, oh, maybe you can see it a little bit. So it's not just a flat ivory, there's some flecks of variation in it. And then I'm going to do it with 938. So I have a couple skeins of the 938. So that's going to be one of my coffee stitches for my classroom. And then I also have, from Primrose, I have the But First Coffee. And I'm going to switch it because my classroom is all black and brown and green. So it's kind of Starbucky colors. And actually, I use Starbucks cups for the kids' name tags. Starbucks has been very cool. The past couple of years, I've gone in and said, I have a coffee-themed classroom. Can I have some empty cups? They give me like a whole stack. And so then I write the kids' names on the cup like it's their order and put it on the desk for them. And it's funny because they'll use them for their pens and stuff like that. So, but I do, and I'll take pictures. I'll do like a little classroom tour maybe. But so I'm going to do this and just change it out to green. And I'm doing that on I already started it. That's my start from like 2 years ago. Maybe last year. So I'm doing that on 838 and 700 on tea-dyed linen. So that's another coffee. And then I have two things that I bought from Finally a Farm Girl, who I love. And if you haven't caught her new, she has Stitchy Linda on with her now in her floss tubes, and they're so much fun. And that was the other thing from vacation. I'm so far behind on my floss tubes. I keep trying to catch up, and then there's new ones, and I'm so far behind. But she had this one that I bought. I think she had a sale in June, maybe. But this is Home is Coffee in one hand and a book in the other. And this is Oscar. So I want to do this one. And then I also want to do, I have the Matilda Goes to School. So I want to do that one. This one would be for home, because they do the September Calendar Girl is a school related one. So I wanted to do a couple other little school things to have like a little grouping of school stuff for September. And I'm going to count one of those, whichever one I get done first, for my Colorado Stitcher camp, cross stitch camp for August, because that was do something new, and I've not done a Finally a Farm Girl yet. I wanted to do a Teresa Kogut, and I actually wanted to do that like a birthday sale, which I forgot to pull the picture up. But you're supposed to start it and finish it, and there's no way I would finish a Teresa Kogut in 1 month, because the one I want to do is big. All right, I think that's it for my plans. Yes, and then I'm going to finish a whole bunch of stuff when I get back from Wisconsin. All right, so on to quilting. So a couple weeks ago, I reorganized all of my fabric and moved it into what will be my crafting space, because it lives in the closet. And now it's nice because I can see it, I can use it, and I've actually had some fun working on things. So I found some things that were almost done, and now they are. So if you've watched before, you know that one of the reasons I started my floss tube was because I am turning 50 in a week, and I wanted to challenge myself to finish 50 projects in my 50th year. So these are a couple things that are going to be on my list. So the summer house was number 19, and this is 17 and 18 because the way them. So hoping to get a little bit more done. It might be in December. I'm just doing roundabouts and getting them done really quick because they're fast. But this was something that was in my stash of stuff, and it was so close to being done. It was like, why isn't it done? So I finished it off. So this is a barn door. I'm sure it has several other names for this block, but I actually taught this at Joannes. I used to be their quilting teacher for a couple of years, and so I would have to make an example for the class to hang up. And I just had to have it, just the piecing part done. So this was the barn door, and it has a little bit of sparkle in the leaves, which I like sparkle in my fabric sometimes. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be all of them, which is kind of a hint. And so this was, I just turned it inside out, which I don't like. I decided I don't like doing that. I would rather bind it. But I thought it would be quicker. But it doesn't always roll right. So I stitched in the ditch to outline the door, and it wasn't finished because I ran out of orange thread, and I was like, who cares? No one's going to come and say it's a different thread. So very happy with how this came out. And we'll be happy to put this out this year with all my fall stuff. I have a lot of fall stuff. I have stuff that I put out for October and November because it's just fall, not really Halloween or Thanksgiving, and so it's nice because it stays up for 2 months. And then this one is, oh, there's a whole bunch of thread stuck to that. This one is more Thanksgiving than just fall. I'm calling this one Turkey Trot. So this was just a cute little table runner that, oh, it's upside down because the turkeys are all facing the wrong way. This was a charm pack, and I just thought it was too cute, so I added a couple little fabrics with it. I love this stripe, and I love the dots. Those are some of my favorites because they're so versatile. You can use them in everything. So cute little turkey trot. So those I finished up, and then when I saw all that beautiful fabric, and I was like, oh, the things I can make. So my first thought was that I was going to make a quilt for my mother-in-law, who we are going to see shortly. And I was like, oh, I'll make, because so much beautiful Christmas fabric in there. I thought I would make her a Christmas log cabin. And I actually got one square done. So there's going to be 2 colors, like 2 sets. So this is kind of the off-white, darker, and then I have like a whiter with brighter red. So it's a little wonky. I have to get my sea legs back because there's a couple of seams that aren't perfectly straight. But this is the first one, and I love this poinsettia fabric. I have a piece for me that's just about ready. I'll do it after we get back from Wisconsin because I want to get her thing done. But I was thinking about it, and it's going to be beautiful, but she is a very practical lady. And I was thinking about it while we were hiking or something, and I was like, you know, having a quilt that she would only have out for just Christmas is probably not her thing. She would probably rather have something she can have out all the time. It's like, well, what do I have that I can finish and have out all the time? So years and years ago, I started a quilt for Phil. There were 2 patterns that were free from McCall's. One is called Hugs because it's an X, and no, that's Kisses. So one is an X, so it's Kisses, and then the other one is an O, so it's Hugs. So when you put it together, it looks like kind of tic-tac-toe because the X's are going to run into each other and create a pattern. So I decided that I was going to use that because everything was already cut, everything was already chosen, and that's what I was going to do. So here is, so there's going to be 5 sets of the red, so everything's, the browns and everything, and then I have 5 sets of the red and yellow combination. So this is the X, and I don't know if I grabbed an O or not, but basically it's the same block. So instead of sewing it together with the X, with the big square in the middle, you just sew this to that half and it makes the O. So it's, as long as I remember to sew it correctly the first time, I keep sewing it wrong and have to like rip half out. So this is one, and then there's an O with the same red and yellow combination. And then there's this one. There you can see the X. There's a close-up. I really like the red design on that one. And then this one is, the yellow is actually the same pattern as the first one I showed you. And I didn't have very much of the yellow. So I just had enough to make the X and the O. Oh, so this is an O. There you go. You can see the O now. And these two are going to be problematic though, because when I sewed them a long time ago with like an 1/8 of an inch seam. I don't know what I was thinking. I must not have had my quilting foot on the machine or something. So they're actually a little bit bigger, and I already ripped them apart once and made the big seams in the middle a little bit bigger. So I'm going to have to do some fudging when I like stretch the other squares so that they all match up. So those are the 3 sets that are done so far. And then I have the next red and yellow combination is this one. And then the final, just the X in the middle, so there'll be 5 X's and 4 O's, and those are big blocks. So the middle one is going to be stars and kind of this batik. Now the cool thing about this, I guess they're little pluses, they kind of look like stars. The cool thing about these two was as I was looking at my fabric and like having everything work out, I didn't have one for the 5th center block. And so I looked into my beautiful fabric closet and I was like, oh, I have a yellow, I have a red, because everything was all nice and neatly organized. So I'm so happy that I did that, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play with stuff. So what I'm going to do, and I do have like, this is my little drawing, how I figure stuff out. Oops. And like I said, this was a free block from McCall's Quilting.com. And so this is my little mock-up. I've got math going there. So I'm going to do the 5 X's. So it'll look kind of like a tic-tac-toe board like my husband said. And then I'm going to have a 2-inch border of brown around that. And then the second border is going to be just the red and yellows. So I have strips for each of them. So I'm going to sew, so I'll take the red and yellow strips and sew the sets together and then cut, 2.5-inch squares, lists, and then, so I'm not going to like sew these two to the next one and then sew the next one. I'm going to do big strips and then cut it apart. So it'll go faster. So that's going to be the middle border and then one more border of brown. And then, I always use flannel for my backing because I feel like it makes it more snuggly, more comfortable. And then, so I do have to pick up some flannel and then brown binding on it. Now, the other thing, I did a lot of washing the fabric because it had been in my basement. One of the things I found that you can do, you can wash batting before you use it. And because some of the batting that was down there also kind of had a little bit of a basement-y smell. Not terrible, but I have a really sensitive nose and I wouldn't want anybody else to like, not be comfortable. So I didn't even know some of the settings in my washing machine, but I took a whole bunch of batting, put it in the washing machine on soak with my Arm & Hammer baking soda laundry detergent, which is my favorite thing in the world now. And everything came out nice and fluffy and it smells awesome. So I'm super happy about that. And I'm going to soak the quilt before, because I washing pieces of fabric that's already been cut doesn't work. So I'll soak the quilt and then layer everything together. And I figured if I have to be sewing finishing the binding when we're in the hotel room or in the car on the way to Wisconsin, I'm okay with that as long as it's all done. So that is my quilting project for now. And getting that done for my mother-in-law. And then the Christmas log cabin, I think I'm going to give that to my brother. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give it to my brother and my sister-in-law. I haven't made anything for them in a long time, so I'm going to do that. All right. Books. What have I been reading? Because I read a lot. Got to try to make sure I'm only on like book 12, which I need to step it up because I told the kids that if they read more books than I do, they get a free book at the book fair. I do not want to be giving out 50 million books in the book fair. So I'm shooting for 30. But I also haven't been reading a lot of kids' books. Yes, that is a Harry Potter mug. It's the color-changing one. I saw, let me swear, I'm up to no good. I brought home 2 bags of books from the library, and I've only read a few because you have to actually sit and read them instead of listening to them while you're stitching or doing something else. And I need to get onto those. But I will when I still got time. It's only half. Summer's only halfway done, halfway through. I'm always trying to look at the optimist part. So the one specifically kids book that I did read in the past couple of weeks, this is Serwa Boating's Guide to Vampire Hunting. So this is from the Rick Riordan collection. Rick Riordan, if you know, is the author of the Percy Jackson series as well as the Magnus Chase series. And he was the one who kind of started the whole trend, I guess, right now, where with Percy Jackson, he took Greek mythology and brought the story into the modern world. So Percy is half god, half, so he's a demigod. He's Poseidon's kid, spoiler alert. So he has some powers with water and stuff like that. So those are huge. I have an entire shelf of just Rick Riordan stuff at school because he has Percy Jackson. Then there's the series that Percy is in that's Roman. So it's the Roman gods and their offspring. Then there's the Egyptian one. There's the Magnus Chase one. There's the Apollo one. Like, he's just constantly writing. Well, one of the cool things he did is he started the Rick Riordan Presents, where other authors who have backgrounds in other mythology are able to, he helps them get published. So, it's cool because there's Korean ones and there's Japanese ones, there's Native American ones, there's African American, which is Tristan Strong, which is the only one from that entire set that won like a writing award. It won the Coretta Scott King Honor, one of the books in that series. It's really good. This one I really enjoyed. This is the main character's family is from Ghana, and yes, they are vampire hunters. So there's a lot of cool Ghanaian culture. The language is in here. There's a glossary in the back. It's beautiful language. And bit of a twist at the end. You weren't kind of expecting that to come around. So the main character, Serwa, her family is part of this, secret society that's been hiding vampires. Ghanaian vampires are not like ours. They look like giant lightning bugs. But they're still pretty dangerous. And so her parents are going on a really dangerous mission, and they leave her with like an aunt, and lo and behold, the vampires have followed her to the town. So she has to get some help. There's a couple other kids in the back from some friends, and kind of make new vampire hunters because the grown-ups won't listen to her. So she has to kind of take matters into her own hand. Really enjoyable. Love all the culture that's in it as well. So that was the only one that I read that was like a kid's book. The rest of them were all mysteries and stuff. So the next actual book I read is Tea and Treachery by Vicki Delaney. And this is the first in a series about a woman who has a little tea shop. And her grandmother runs a bed and breakfast right next door. Tea room. And Vicki Delaney has a couple series. She has one that's set in a town that's like, I think it's supposed to be Rudolph, New York, which doesn't exist. But the town is like Christmas all year, and the main character has a Christmas shop that she runs. And so those are delightful. And there's a new one coming out later this summer. Was happy to see that. So this one, main character, as I said, our grandmother runs a B&B, and there's a developer who wants to buy the property next door so they can put up, like a big resort. Grandmother doesn't like it. They have an argument, and then of course the developer is dead. And so the main character, Lily, has to, she's going to try to, find out what really happened to protect her grandmother. Good first start. I think there's a couple others. I would like to see, more of these characters and some of the stuff that they get into. She's got a couple sidekicks, like her friend who wants to be a writer. So that was very enjoyable as well. And I do really like Vicki Delaney's. All right, so then I'm going to show you some pictures because I write a bunch of stuff on my Kindle. And so I can just show you the covers of those. All right, so another favorite author of mine is Kathy Daly. She writes cozy mysteries, and she probably has like 7 different series. So this one is the Inn at Holiday Bay, and this one was the Clue in the Carriage House. So the premise of this series is the main character is a writer, and her husband and infant son were killed in a car accident. And after that happened, she moved across. She'd been living in San Francisco, moved to Maine, bought an old building, and turned it into a bed and breakfast, and now like has a new chapter in life, and not trying to forget her husband and child, but just trying to find a way to move on and continue living. So this is actually the 23rd book in the series out of 24. Really nice cast of characters around her. You get to know those characters over the course of all the different books. You probably could read them as a standalone, but you wouldn't see the character development as much in the friendships. And there's actually, Kathy has done a couple spin-offs. So people who have gone to the inn or other people in town have their own series. So there's a new one starting. That's the bookshop at Holiday Bay. So somebody new takes over the bookshop, and she's going to have her own series. That one's coming out. I don't think it's out yet. But then there's, like I said, other ones of, there's the Bistro at Holiday Bay. So somebody runs a little restaurant, and she has her own series of things. So, characters are in and out of both of those series as well. But then sometimes people visit Holiday Bay, and then they get their own. So this was another one I read. And this is Cottage on Gooseberry Bay. Time Will Tell. So this one, the main character was a guest at the Holiday Bay Inn. She was trying to find her roots because all she had was a picture of when she was a baby in front of this big, beautiful house. She thought it was the house at the inn, and it wasn't. So the cottage stories start with her finding out who she really is, and what happened to her when she was little. And then, of course, she's actually a PI, not just a regular person who solves mysteries, but she actually is a PI and has a bunch of friends that she hangs out with, and they're all part of the stories. This one was about a girl who went missing, and so cold case, girl who went missing like 5 or 6 years ago, and somebody finds a dress that was the dress she went missing in, and so that takes Ainsley on the journey to find out what happened. So these are good too. A lot of kind of seasonal. So she writes ones that are happen at Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then there's, and a lot of the little towns have like festivals going on and that kind of thing. So those are kind of fun. So I read those two from Kathy Daly. And then this one is third of 5. The Beacon Bake Shop. So Murder at the Blueberry Festival. And this one is about a woman who was, I think she worked on Wall Street and just kind of got burned out. She loved to bake. So she bought a cute little lighthouse and turned the bottom part of the lighthouse into a bake shop. And so, again, kind of seasonal things. I think the next one is a Halloween one. So I will read that when it's Halloween because I want to read those seasonally. But so they're having this blueberry festival in the town, and somebody keeps pranking all the big events. So like there's a 5K, and the path has been marked on the road. Somebody went along the night before, erased what the official route was, and then made a new route that people were like running off, like jumping off the pier. So stuff like that. And of course, then one of them, they find a dead body. So they have to figure out what's going on. Now, the nice thing with this one, though, is it had a ton of recipes. So I took screenshots. When I was done with it, I just screenshotted it out, like all the recipes in the back. Because there are things like blueberry lemon bread and muffins. But there was like a blueberry buckle. So haven't tried any of them yet. But it'll be... Oh, and there's a blueberry mint julep. That sounds delicious. And then this one... a little bit more steamy than the other ones. This one's not a cozy mystery. This one's called Wild Scottish Night, because I do like books with magic and witches and stuff in it. I mean, why not? You're reading a book for fantasy. Like, really, if you could be like Molly Weasley and go swish and flick and have your entire house clean, wouldn't you do that? I totally would. Then you'd have more time to stitch. So this one, young woman's uncle dies. leaves her a castle in Scotland, and of course there's like a curse, not really a curse on it, but there's an order that's supposed to protect a magic item, and she finds out she's part of the order. So there's kelpies, which are like wild water horses in Scottish tradition, and of course she goes there and falls in love with one of the Scotsmen. So a little steamy, not for kids. But there's 2 more in the series, and I do want to see like how are they going to defeat the kelpies and like get everything back to the way it's supposed to be and kind of like reset the balance. So that is everything I read the past couple weeks. Yep, and I am reading right now. I'm reading one on my Kindle. Hold on, I'll pull that up real quick. It's called the Moonlight Gardening Club. This one was actually not in Kindle Unlimited. Oh, trying to get the cover. So this is about Moonlight Gardening. There's the cover of it. There are plants that, like gardens that people will do with all white plants and things like jasmine that smell, like the smell comes out in the evening. And they're supposed to be like very calming and very beautiful and just kind of reflect the moonlight. So there's a moonlight garden in this town that people work on together. And so it's the relationships of the people who are working on it together. It's pretty good. And then my silly summer romance one is Hook, Line, and Sinker. Also not for kids. But it's good. It's well written. Like the characters are fun. So that's what I'm reading right now, and I didn't take any of the books from school with me on vacation because they're technically not my books, so I don't want to have something happen to a library book and then I have to buy a new one. So I will step it up on the kids' books when I get back. So I think that's it. So all my stitching and my plans, we'll see, you make your plans and then you change them. All my quilting, everything I've been reading. So don't know what we're doing for my birthday because we won't be in town, but I did just find out that Max is actually going to be coming home for a couple days right after. So that makes me very happy. We don't get to see him often. He did come home for a day or 2 earlier in July, and he brought his girlfriend with her. She's adorable. She's very cute. So that was nice, but he's going to be home for a couple days after my birthday. Now I have been thinking about doing a birthday sale. So that is going to be my question is, would you be willing to do a birthday sale with me? Let me pull it up. With my new crafting space, which I'm anticipating working on when we get back, and after everything is set for the apartment, because we need to get that done so we can get it rented out. But it might be, we thought we had to fix something in the shower that shares a wall with that room, and it looks like we might not have to go through the wall to fix it. It looks like it's kind of fixed itself. So that would be awesome. But with my new stitching space, I wanted to have a lot of stitchings about stitching in it. And there is a new Teresa Kogut that I thought would be awesome. So sorry I was not organized. This one. I love this one. It's With Thy Hands, Ivy Rot, and it has a lot of stitching stuff, and then there's a cute little, there's another one over here that says Hands to Work, Hearts to Love, and then there's like an alphabet one too. So this book comes with 3 patterns, and I thought that this would be cool to do for my birthday stitch. So I'm wondering if you would be willing or you'd like to stitch it with me. I don't have it yet. I'm going to make a giant list of all the stuff I want for my birthday, like the new Autumn Tiny Town. Did you see that one? Oh my gosh, so cute. And of course, the Stitching with the Housewives, all 3 of their new ones, that Welcome Home Autumn. The weigh-ins are adorable. The new Halloween weigh-in. And I said on my comment, I was like, hey, there's purple in there, because Priscilla doesn't like purple. But that one's really, really cute. What was the other one? There's another one that was really cute too. And then Primrose has some new autumn stuff coming out. I really want to do that Quaker that she did with the pumpkin pie color and cotton. I think that's gorgeous. So I'm not ready for fall yet. I will start like September 1st. I'll be ready. But there's a lot of good stuff out. So I'm going to make a birthday list. But if so that's going to be your question to answer in the comments. Would you be willing to do a sale with me? And do answer a question in the comments, because since I hit 500, I'm going to do my giveaway. So this, I purchased this one a couple of years ago when I was stitching for my bee themed classroom, and it's heartstring samplery, and I haven't used it, so it's pretty much like still in the little plastic bag because I didn't do it. It's super cute, and it's all the little fobs. So there's like 9 different things in here to stitch, but it's just kind of not going with the rest of my bee decor. The other stuff is all kind of bright. So it's really cute, but this will be my giveaway. So to celebrate that I hit 500, and my birthday is next week, this is my giveaway. So in the comments, please let me know, would you be willing to do a stitch along with me for Teresa Kogut's With Thy Hands? Next video, which I hope to be when we get back. I feel really bad that I went like 4 weeks almost without a video. I will try to be better for the rest of August, and hopefully I will have my crafting space to be able to show you as it goes from getting the room painted, getting all the furniture loaded, and then getting all the stuff organized. So just like the quilting, now I'll be able to look and see everything and be able to use it. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you're having a good summer and you've got good weather and good stitchy times and reading and quilting, whatever fun stuff you're doing. Hiking and biking and all that stuff too, being out there. So thanks again, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.